Y'all know nothing about this. You need to pay attention. Sit back and relax. It's time for Goodall's Country Kitchen.
All right, we're out here in Spencer County, Taylorsville, and I've got a special guest with me, which I will introduce in just a second. But we're here today at Linda's Grill. Anybody that's ever lived in Spencer County in the Taylorsville area, they know all about Linda's Grill. It goes back to the present owner 30 years, and before that, the original owner goes back at least 50 years. And then before that, it was around the corner on the main street here in the downtown section. So this place goes back 60 or 70 years anyway. But anyway, just known for good country cooking and, of course, biscuits and milk gravy. For y'all up east, y'all don't know nothing about this biscuit and gravy. My friend Scott Jacoy, this is quite a story. Scott, I'm going to let you tell it how you ended up here today. So just go ahead and tell them.
I contacted the coach because he knew I was going to be in the area, and lo and behold, he said it was on his list, and so here we are today.
Can you tell them why you're in Kentucky?
Okay.
And where you're coming from?
Yeah.
And where you're going?
Well, I'm from Northern California, and I'm an old gold prospector from a gold rush town called Placerville, and I'm on my way to Michigan to visit my daughter, who is in her last year of psychiatric residency up in Livonia, and I figure I'm going to need her help in the future.
Well, I need her help now. I'm about half nuts.
Yeah.
But before we get going, I got to give some shout outs real quick. Steve O sent me $25. Appreciate that, Steve. Melinda Wilson sent $2. And you know what? That $2 paid for my gas out here and back for this review today. So I appreciate that. No little amount is not enough. So I really do appreciate anything you send. Bill North, True Blue, my most loyal fan of the show, sent me another $20. And Lee Stock sent $20. And I do have a quick correction. Terry and Kathleen Titus, I said they were from Louisville, Kentucky on the last video. They're from Lucasville, Ohio. I can't even read my own writing. Louisville, Lucasville. Enough of the chin music, gum flapping. We're going to go on and get some biscuits and gravy.
There you go. And like Bill North, I'm an old Coast Guard guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right.
I'll have to get a picture of that to put on there. Yeah, this won't take long, but I'm going to show you around this place because it is very quaint and cozy. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bar stools at the counter. It's your typical old school country diner. And there's where all the magic takes place, right there. You got a flat top grill and a deep fryer. That's all you need. And then there's your lunch menu. And I see 100% on that health rating back there. And there's only 2 tables. So you got 9 bar stools and 2 tables. Nice, cozy, and okay. I'm gonna let, since Scott's the guest, I'm gonna let him go first. And being that he don't get these kind of fixings where he's from, he of course got it Barry's way. He got the biscuits and gravy, runny eggs, and potatoes.
That's right. A lot of pepper.
He knows how to do it.
Oh yeah, I love that pepper. You get those eggs on top.
Look, here's a good and runny.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is anyway.
Yeah. And potatoes on top.
You've been taking notes.
I I got it from the professional.
There you go. And
I'm going to get saved by grace.
there you go.
Beautiful.
He even put the grace on his potatoes.
That's right.
Well, it's all going together anyway.
That's right.
And last but not least,
Beautiful.
see, you haters out there, y'all don't know nothing about this. I'm like, oh, how do you put ketchup and hot sauce on biscuit and gravy? Well, if you eat eggs with hot sauce and if you eat potatoes with ketchup, just put it all together and get the full flavor.
So good.
And then, of course, that runny yolk just accentuates everything. Well, Scott, what do you think?
Don't get this at home. That's for sure.
No, I know you've been sending me, messages over a period of time,
Yep.
talking about you don't get any kind of food like what we have here in Kentucky, out where you live.
I'm taking advantage of being here for a couple of weeks, that's for sure.
There you go. He's not just coming in for a day or two. He's spending a few days to make sure he gets all the good Kentucky spots.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a minute. I'm going to show you mine, which is a duplicate order. So you're just going to be watching the same thing twice, but different eating techniques. See, Scott's civilized. Welcome to Billy Bob's Barbecue and Amish Deli. It's a little country store with a whole lot to offer, so let's go in and see what they got. They've got homemade Amish jellies, pickles, jams, and honey and sorghum. They've got local Amish-made lunch meats and cheeses. And don't forget the award-winning Kansas City Gourmet Barbecue. Y'all don't know nothing about this Amish liver, cheese, and homemade sourdough bread. And don't forget about the homemade Amish fried apple pie. Just a 30-minute drive outside Louisville. It's veteran owned, and y'all don't know nothing about this Billy Bob's Barbecue and Amish Deli. All right, so I just did a little different thing. Instead of 2 eggs runny, I got 4. And of course, as Scott showed you, little black pepper. And here's a different twist, which is really not different because y'all have been following for a long time. You already know I use McElhaney's Tabasco on breakfast. Even though I love Grace, and Grace goes good on everything, I love Tabasco on eggs and biscuits and gravy. And then, of course, I've got to layer it with the home fried potatoes. Get over there. And
Nice.
there you go. And one more time on the pepper. You notice that little Patty LaBelle? All right. Isn't that just pretty? Look how that yolk just rolled out over the sides of everything. It's so pretty, I hate to even eat it, but just got to. And that gravy, it doesn't have sausage chunks in it. This is just milk gravy, which y'all that don't know nothing about biscuit and gravy, milk gravy is just basically flour, bacon grease, and milk, salt, and pepper. Real simple. But of course, there's an art form to making it. And these ladies here got that art form down pat. Perfect combination. I just love how that yolk accentuates the gravy. Let me get a potato on there. All right, we're going to work on our biscuits and gravy. I'm going to move on to the lunch menu. I timed it perfect. I told Scott to meet me here at 10 because I knew we'd start jawing a little bit. And then by the time we get through with our breakfast, You just transition right on into lunch. Okay, y'all see what I'm eyeballing. I don't know what kind of pie. Well, one looks like a coconut cream or coconut meringue. And that might be either Italian cream cake or carrot cake. Not sure, but I see pecans on top. Young lady, what kind of homemade pie or cake is that in the front?
The cake is a banana walnut.
Banana walnut. I was all the way wrong. Oh, okay. Coconut pie and cherry cheesecake. All right. All right. Scott's getting his stuff prepared. We'll let him talk about it in a minute, but I got the Manhattan. I don't know, they don't call it a Manhattan. I do. That's what we used to call it at my parents' old place, Goodall's Country Store. Manhattan roast beef sandwich with gravy on it, mashed potatoes and gravy. And if that wasn't enough starch, I got the macaroni and cheese. All right. So, Scott, go ahead. What do you got?
So Philly cheesesteak, beautiful steak, provolone cheese, grilled onions, and green peppers. Just
All
the way
the fixings.
the way I like it. And onion rings.
Nice looking onion rings there. Cooked good. Go ahead. Give it a whirl. Oh, yeah. Double snapping turtle move. Vintage double snap. I had a feeling he was going to do that right off the bat. Now, you do know that the scientific method where that first snap goes to the back of the palate? People think I'm just being a pig. They don't realize there's actual scientific methodology to it. If you want the full cranial burst,
Yep.
you have to do at least a double snap and turtle move.
Well, I got it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There you go.
Shop secondhand first with Peddlers Mall.
New products are added daily by our vendors. Vintage, antiques, uniques, furniture, clothing, collectibles, crafts, gifts, oddities, home decor, and more.
Hundreds of vendors in every location. You never know what you will find.
Interested in becoming a vendor? Contact us today.
18 locations across Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia.
Open 7 days a week.
Hey, those onion rings look so good. You don't mind if I get one, do you? Oh, I'm glad you approve. Now back to my Manhattan with the good brown gravy on it. Let me see what's all up in here. Oh, they got gravy on the inside too with looks like a good tender roast beef. The brown gravy's got a good beefy flavor to it. And mashed potatoes and gravy. I really like that gravy. It's actually got a little saltiness to it, not over salty. Even though you can't make it salty enough for me, but I'm just saying it's got a good beefy, salty taste to it. All right, and you see the mac and cheese. You already know I come showered in grace.
Let's see, son.
Wow, that's creamy mac and cheese. Very good. You know, usually the way I make it, it comes like a souffle baked, but I like creamy mac and cheese too. Very tasty. Still got a rich flavor to it. All right, we're gonna work on this and we'll be back. Might have to get into some of them homemade desserts. Yes, go first. What do you got there?
Coconut pie.
Here, can you kind of turn it? Let me get a profile. Yeah, there you go. All the fixings. Go ahead. Tell me about it. That looks like some good homemade meringue on there.
Excellent. Yeah, really good. Haven't had coconut pie for a long time, I tell you. Mm.
And the desserts are homemade. I'm going to start in telling you about mine in just a second. Takes me back to the old good old country store days. You know, all those years I worked at my parents' restaurant, Good All's Country Store. They made their cakes homemade. They made Italian cream cake and carrot cake every day. Now, some of their pies were store-bought, but the cakes were definitely homemade, just like this. And this is a banana walnut cake. Even though I'm not big on nuts, anything that comes with a cake, I don't mind at all. And that icing. Can't wait to taste that. That tastes like a buttercream icing. That's made with love, for sure. Here's for the plate haters. I haven't done that in a while. And of course, a glass of ice cold milk.
I don't have any cash.
Man, that's so good. All right, we're gonna work on our desserts. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna try to get one of these gals to get on camera, but they've already told me, don't get me on camera. But one of Linda, she seems like a character. I'd love to get her on here to talk, but we'll see. We'll be back. All right, before we, wrap things up here, I got to tell you, I got a lot of connections out here. My grandma, who is 102, lived out here the last 20, 30 years of her life. And my Aunt Joan, whose husband Donnie, and his brother Barry, they owned the marina here on Taylorsville Lake, Settlers Trace. They've been in here since the late 80s until Donnie and Barry passed away. So everybody here in Taylorsville knows my Aunt Joan and Uncle Donnie, my dad's sister Joan. But anyway, speaking of the family history, there's also a lot of other history here in historic Taylorsville. A lot of people don't know, but there was a lot of Civil War history that took place here. The movie Outlaw Josie Wales, in the beginning of that movie, there's some things that take place that are loosely based on some actions that took place in this area. The Confederate cavalry raider, William Quantrell, was shot just about 5 miles down the road toward Bloomfield here and was carried into Louisville. They wanted to hang him, but he died before they could hang him. Sue Mundy, another famous guerrilla cavalry fighter, Marcellus Clark. They called him Sue Mundy because he dressed up like a woman and would spy behind Union lines as a woman. You ever heard that one?
I haven't.
So he picked up the name Sue Mundy.
Wow.
He got shot out here by Bloomfield, him and Henry Magruder. They hung Sue Mundy right off the bat, but Henry Magruder was wounded severely, so they nursed him back to health. Took several weeks just so they could hang him down on Broadway in downtown Louisville. But anyway, a lot of history to be seen out here in the Taylorsville, Bloomfield area. Now to Linda's Grill. Linda wouldn't get on camera. I wanted to get a few words from her because she is a character. But she said, no, she said it ended up like a Jerry Springer episode. You wouldn't want me on there. But anyway, the food was great. What'd you think?
Oh, it was great. I'm definitely feeling it right now. So great breakfast, great lunch, great experience to be with you and talk to you and learn about all the history of the area and that type of thing. So I'm very lucky, and we'll continue our trip, and we're going to visit a whole bunch of other places in the area. Every day I'm here, actually, so looking forward to it.
He said he's headed out to the Farmstead Market, the Amish grocery store. Can't go wrong there. Probably one of the best baked country ham sandwiches you'll ever have.
I will mention one thing. My hometown, Placerville, California, is known as Old Hangtown. So that's Gold Rush history, where they hung a number of thieves up there too. So,
And speaking of hanging, Scott hung with me bite for bite this whole review. Biscuits and gravy with the eggs, the potatoes. He had the Philly cheese, onion rings, and dessert. He hung right there with me. Breakfast transitioned into lunch and dessert,
yeah.
bite for bite. So I got to give you props there, Scott.
Yeah, now I'm paying for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you get it, you want to take a nice ride out in the country, find a little local history, come on out, load up the kids, come on out to Spencer County in the Taylorsville area, and y'all don't know nothing about this Linda's Grill.
Now you know the facts of why I'm on a mission. You're always welcome back to Goodall's Country Kitchen.